So UConn is probably going to end up like a consensus preseason top 8 kind of a team, top 6, top 8, somewhere around there. St. John's is going to end up being
I would think 5 to 10 for you.
Yeah, and then St. John's is probably going to be top 5, 5 to 7. In the same, at the very least, you have 2 preseason top 10 teams in the Big East consensusly. One of them is coached by Dan Hurley, who is one of the biggest figures in the sport of college basketball, maybe the biggest right now, and Rick Pitino, who if Dan Hurley's not the biggest figure in college basketball right now, it might be Rick Pitino, right? It's one of those two.
And they love each other. Hey, Rob, they love each other.
Well, that's what I was going to say. 2 massive personalities, 2 guys that don't like each other, that will play nice in public, but aren't afraid to give like a nice little backhanded jab, a backhanded compliment to each other, that aren't afraid to speak their mind publicly. And they are playing in New York City and in what many believe is New York City's true home team, the UConn Huskies, which is probably accurate. And now you have one of the best rivalries in college basketball that feels like it just kind of sprang up out of nowhere in the last year. Like there are a lot of things I'm excited for college basketball this season. Getting potentially 3 games between St. John's and UConn this season, 2 of them in the Garden, I don't think you can ask for more than that as a basketball fan, at least in the Northeast.
Yeah. Rick Pitino and Dan Hurley do not like one another. They do not like one another. And that's what's going to make this so good. The proximity, the fact that the 2 fan bases now will really dislike one another. And the 2 teams are both top 5-ish teams in the country. Like last year, we went in the year thinking like, all right, St. John's, we got no idea. They're a top 25-ish team. We're putting them there because of Rick Pitino, but who knows? Nobody knew Zuby would have the year he had, right? Nobody thought that in a million years. And obviously what UConn did was dominate the league, both regular season and in the tournament. I think UConn and Dan Hurley is going to be even more motivated this year to kind of reclaim their prominence in the Big East. But those games are going to be wars. They're going to be fun because, again, those 2 coaches, they're at different points in their careers too, right? Like Rick just likes kind of effing around a little bit, right? And pushing buttons. That's what he does and has done for a while now because he doesn't really care about the media attention or any of that stuff. Dan Hurley loves it because he hasn't really had it up until the last 3 years. I mean, let's be real here. Like he's never had it at that level to where nationally people are talking about him, looking at him. So he enjoys it. And these guys, again, they'll push each other's buttons. I would love to be at the Big East meetings. I don't know if both guys will end up going there, but it would be entertaining as all hell this year.
And we all know who the star of the show actually would be at the Big East meetings. Who's
that, Rob?
Put your
who? Who's the star of the show going to be at the Big East meetings? Who's going to talk the most?
John Paquette. He's coming back, coming out of retirement. He's going to take it over. Let me ask you this, and you got to make a decision. You have to pick one of them. All right. And take the fact that you want to troll me out of the equation. All right. Give me an honest opinion. St. John's, UConn. You got to bet your the house that you don't own, the mortgage payments that you got to make to sit in an Airbnb in Charleston, the money that you got to spend to renovate the place that you just bought. You got to bet all of that on one of those 2 teams to have a better season. Who is it?
I'm going with the St. John's Johnnies. Rick Pitino, man. I still say, as good as Dan Hurley is, he's not Rick Pitino. And St. John's, the point guard situation worries me. It does, no doubt about it. But they have everything else, and I think Rick will figure it out. It's not like in college, Rob, that they come after you. Like, I don't think they're going to come after Ian Jackson or Dylan Darling. I think the biggest thing is can Dylan Darling be a game manager? And then Ian Jackson's a change of pace guy who's just a scoring guard. You give him the ball and go let him make plays. But I love the experience. I love the fact that, again, you've got, Hopkins and Zuby with a couple shooters, really good shooters around him. You've got depth now. But again, UConn's really good too. I don't know if they're quite as talented in their top 4 or 5.
Yeah, here. So I think it's UConn, and here's the argument that I'll make, and I hope that people are.
Shocking.
Look at this as something that is relatively unbiased. It's close, man. I think it's if we're looking at this, if I'm going to take off the UConn gear or whatever, it's basically comes down to like, what do you like more? Do you like vanilla ice cream or do you like mint chocolate chip ice cream? You bucked when I said pistachio ice cream last week, so I'm changing it to mint chocolate.
No more pistachio. Don't ever use pistachio again. Thank you.
Okay, yes. So it's cookies and cream or mint chocolate chip. Like whatever your favorite flavor of ice cream is, you're probably not wrong. But the point guard situation worries me, and going all in on a guy in Ian Jackson who's been kind of an inefficient scorer, that a little turnover prone. Same thing with Sandin, and having your biggest expenditure of the offseason be a guy that's played 3 games since January of 2024. Like, those are things that are a little concerning to me. And I just, the way that the roster has been built for UConn looks way too close and way too similar to what it was the last 2 years that they won the title, for me not to be really excited about it. But I'll tell you this, that game in Stores, that game in the Garden, the regular season games, like, I'm going to do whatever I can to get up there. We'll probably be doing live shows from one of them. And this year, you are not going to talk me out of going to the Big East tournament.